The Central Asian Report is a program about the ongoing geopolitical trends and the panorama of the present-day realities in Central Asia.
Politics, economics and culture, events, trends and people. All this on one territory. Hello, you're watching the Central Asian Report in today's program. Healthcare system in Tajikistan, the path to modernization. Animation films in Kazakhstan, an industry or one-time phenomenon. The Almaty Marathon, running for a good cause. And coming right up, headlines from Central Asia. Residents of Uzbekistan are preparing for a big earthquake. The country's Ministry of Emergency Services, in collaboration with the UN Development Program, have organized events in all regions of the country to inform the citizens about the rules of conduct during the earthquakes and afterwards. The set of trainings, lectures and seminars was dedicated to the unfortunate date, 50 years since the day of a devastating earthquake which practically destroyed all of Tashkent in April of 1966. I would like to note that modern scientists fear the repetition of that catastrophe in connection with the increasing seismic activity in some regions of Uzbekistan. In the upcoming years, Kazakhstan will renew up to 70% of its military arms and equipment. This was announced by the president of the country, Nursultan Nazarbayev. According to the head of state, today defense expenditures are financed as a priority. Within the framework of modernization of the military complex, great attention will also be devoted to the development of knowledge-intensive productions and the transfer of technologies in the national defense industry. Advanced technologies to the aid of healthcare. This is how the healthcare system is being modernized in Tajikistan. Our correspondent Dushanbe visited a hospital and prepared an overview of the more symbolic changes in Tajikistan's surgery and diagnostics practices. Firuz just recently turned 6 months old. At first glance, he looks like a regular baby with a good appetite. It is hard to believe, but 2 months ago, his life was under threat. Serious disturbances in his heart rate were detected by the doctors when the child was born. Firuz became the first baby in the country who had an artificial pacemaker implanted. The surgery lasted for a little less than an hour. Today, its only reminder are the 2 small scars. For 4 months, we feared for our son's life. He turned blue, was always sleeping, and had shallow breathing. And I'm very glad that nevertheless, the doctors were able to conduct this long-awaited surgery on time. At the moment in Tajikistan, more than 7,000 people are living with a congenital heart disorder. More than half of them are children. Before, patients with a weight of less than 20 kilograms were not operated on. Hospitals did not have the needed equipment and specialists. Today, even babies are operated on. The youngest patient was 15 days old.
На снимке видно, что 2 электродика пришиты к левому желудочку.
On this image, we can see 2 electrodes attached to the left heart ventricle. Through the diaphragm, it is connected to the upper abdominal cavity, where the battery is installed. It is less than the palm of my hand.
Сама батарейка вот меньше, чем моя ладошка.
Aside from the treatment of children, Tajikistan's doctors are successfully conducting other surgeries. Ainur Akhmatova arrived from Kyrgyzstan. She suffers from renal failure. She decided to have the organ transplant surgery here in Tajikistan. Her mother was the donor. 2 young men came here before us and advised this place. And it is also easier because they speak Russian here. Abroad, if one already has an approved donor, on average this type of surgery costs $50,000, and this is not taking into account medicaments and post-op rehabilitation. In Tajikistan, the entire procedure and accompanying services will amount to only $10,000, which is 5 times cheaper. In accordance with the agreements reached with our colleagues in Kyrgyzstan, we prepare the patients there in order to simplify the process of pre-op preparation. On average, this takes about a month. To this day, already 70 kidney transplant surgeries have been conducted. Today, around 50 patients are on the waiting list. Improvements in the quality of medical services is a priority in Tajikistan's development strategy. This year, the government allocated 14 times more funds from its budget than in 2005 for the healthcare sector. Modernization of the sector is undoubtedly good, but the most important is that all the offered services are accessible to a wide population. Two animated films in half a century. This is how animated movies are produced in Kazakhstan. Animation, which can be a profitable business, in our country remains a rare phenomenon. The entire last week, our correspondent watched cartoons and found out from the specialists on the sector's prospects. Details in our next story.
Подробности в следующем сюжете.
On the 19th of May, the animation film Kazakh will be released in theaters. This is the second full-feature animation film produced in Kazakhstan. The plot is based on the story of formation of the Kazakh Khanate. The main heroes are Jibek and Jolly.
Бұл Жәнібек, ал мен Кереймін. Ей!
The film studio in Shymkent worked on the production of Kazakh. The budget was 375 million tenge. Those who watched the film before its premiere spoke highly of its quality. It is no accident that the motion picture was bought for screening in Russia, France, Germany, and United Arab Emirates. But back home, the film might not enjoy that much success in theaters. According to the commercial director of a chain of movie theaters, Dmitry Kirienko, distributors of Kazakh chose an unfortunate date for the release. In second half of May, a couple of Hollywood blockbusters will be released. In this situation, the national animation film may remain unnoticed by the audience.
Продукт стоил того, чтобы выйти на экраны, но то продвижение и те...
The movie is worth being released, but promotion and everything around its release leave much to be desired, and that is why we're not placing big bets on it.
Быть лучшими, и поэтому мы особых ожиданий, к сожалению, особых ставок не делаем.
The Kazakh animation film is not the only one to face problems with promotion. Next year, Kazakhstan's animation industry will turn 50 years old, but it is still not popular. We're witnessing catastrophic losses because we're losing at the level of children's consciousness. Our children do not imagine or picture any images of Kazakh fairy tales, legends, or myths. The first Kazakhstani animated cartoon, Why the Swallow Has a Tail with Little Horns, was released in 1967. The cartoon's director, Amin Haydarov, founded an animation school in Kazakhstan. After the dissolution of the USSR, for a long time cartoons were not produced at all. At the end of the 2000s, national animation industry got a second wind. Animation films are not cheap. A short animated movie costs up to 15 million tenge. As a rule, business people and bankers do not invest money into this form of art. That is why the majority of cartoons are produced using state funds or the private funds of artists.
Первый фильм «Охота», он был сделан в свободное от работы время, и мы...
The first animated movie, The Hunt, was done during free time from work, and we decided we should try sending it to some festivals, and received all kinds of awards. And this partially inspired us, but afterwards we got seriously engaged in animation.
И вот после этого мы серьезно занялись анимацией.
Only by lowering the quality of the animation is it possible to substantially decrease the costs. That's what the Asia Animation Company did. The studio produces not expensive cartoons using the motifs of Kazakh fairy tales as plots and also mobile apps.
Для того, чтобы эффективно изучать язык, нужно, чтобы был какой-то...
In order to be able to effectively learn the language, there needs to be interesting content in Kazakh language. First, we produced 5 series. It turned out well. Then we produced, I believe, another 40 to 50 series, and then another 40.
50 сразу серий сделали. Потом еще 40.
It is difficult to even receive financing from the state for the creation of good quality, expensive cartoons. In our country, cartoon production is still an unprofitable business. However, the examples of animation studios of Hollywood and Japan suggest the opposite. The unique aspect of animation is that despite its origin country, if the animation is of good quality, it can compete on the entire world market. Japan has demonstrated this. Japanese anime, cartoons Hayao Miyazaki are popular across the entire world. So there's no case of producing the West or the East. All this is professionalism. It is a sort of a business. No matter how tough the market is, Kazakhstan's animators continue to make efforts to spike the interest of the domestic audience and investors with their projects. And the fact that cartoons produced in Kazakhstan are being bought by foreign distributors fills us with hope. Running for a good cause. In the southern metropolis of Kazakhstan, the 5th Almaty Marathon was held, the largest in all of Central Asia. Its main aim are not athletic feats, but charity. Our correspondent took part in the marathon with other participants and is ready to share the curious details of this big run. On the football field, Ruslan Jamanbalayev is the most active, has been passionate about sports since early childhood. But right now is a very important period for the young man. He's preparing for his first big sporting event, the Almaty Marathon.
Я хочу пробежать эти 10 километров и занять.
I want to finish this 10-kilometer run with a result that my mother would be proud of, to defend the school's honor, so that my parents would be happy that I was able to finish.
Родители были счастливы, то что я так смог пробежать.
Ruslan is a student of a boarding school number 9 of the city of Almaty for children with heavy speech disorders. Last year, thanks to the organization of the marathon, the school got this new sports stadium. It was built using the funds raised from the marathon. According to set traditions, the Almaty Marathon is a charitable event. For 2016, we set the following charitable goal: to buy 4 exercise machines for the musculoskeletal system of children who suffer from infantile cerebral palsy. They will be donated to the Ardy Fund. The Almaty Marathon is part of the Association of International Marathons and Runs. The first time it was held was 5 years ago. Then 2,000 people took part in the run. This year, 20,000 participants registered. Of course, our first aim is promotion of mass engagement in sports, popularization of a healthy lifestyle. We want more and more people to be healthy, to be engaged in sports. Marat Baltabayev is a marathon veteran. Over his 70 years, he took part in 70 marathons in various countries of the world. He covered a distance of 140,000 kilometers. Marat Baltabayev took part in the Almaty Marathon all 5 times. He was even elected as the official ambassador of the marathon.
Сами понимаете, это очень затратное мероприятие. Хотя
You understand that this is a very costly event. However, it is worth it. Many people are already joining, training, calling and asking. We try to explain, share our experience.
то, в принципе, по мере возможности мы, объясняем, делимся опытом.
The most important issue for the organizers is the safety of the participants. To ensure it, the personal staff of the Almaty Department of Internal Affairs was recruited. A couple of streets of the southern metropolis were shut down for vehicle transport, including one of the main arteries of the city, the Al-Farabi Avenue. There are 3 distances: 10 kilometers, 21, and for the most enduring, 42 kilometers and 195 meters. In addition, the organizers set up a finish line for children after 3 kilometers and a separate competition for the team run. There are pit stops along the way, but those who value every second prefer to rehydrate on the go or on the run. A bit further on, without leaving the run, one can re-energize with a banana. A chip registers the time of every participant. It is built into the number of every runner. The signal from the chip is read by special equipment at different points of the marathon. That is why it is impossible to get a better result by using a shortcut. One can only count on one's own strength and willpower. Fatigue and elation, and a feeling of pride for oneself and those that ran. This is really the reason why this was all organized. The most dramatic finish is of course for those who chose the longest distance, but it is impossible to measure in kilometers the extent to which one overcomes one's own strengths. All those who finished the run are awarded with certificates and medals, and as a reward, a concert program and a congratulatory speech from the city's mayor, which, by the way, alongside all the other participants, for the first time ran the 10-kilometer run. You're watching the Central Asian Report. Until next time on Kazakh TV.